So now that we've talked about the parent function, it's the most simplest function we can have that still draws a line. So we have to have x for input and y is our output. And we see that it draws a nice, very straight line, and it goes through the center of the graph at 0, 0, and has a slope of 1. That is always going to be the parent function. But let's talk about what happens when we have a shift. So remember, vertical means up and down. I should say up or down. So the graph is either going to shift up or it's going to shift down. We'll worry about the rest of this later. So let's look inside and see how we're going to do it. So we have to keep track. Remember, our slope is the value right in front of that x, and our number that is added to the x term is our y-intercept. So notice I have something times x, so this has to be where my slope goes because it's being multiplied to x, and this has to be my constant or my number because it's being added to that x term. So this is telling me that my slope is 1, so I'm going to put the number 1 here, and my y-intercept is 3. So this y-intercept, this here is the point where x is 0 and y is 3. That is a point. This is not a point. Okay, so let's clean this up. 1 times x is x, plus 3 is just plus 3. Okay, so we're going to see how this shifted compared to the parent. But let's go ahead and do what it's asking us to do here. So think of this as a function machine. So this here is going, something is going in, it's going into that function machine, and then something is coming out, okay? So the calculator doesn't show us what it's thinking, what it's doing, but this is like inside your calculator. So x is 2, and b is 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. Here, x is 1, b is still 3, 1 plus 3 is 4. Here, x, because this is x, input is 0, and b is 3. Here, x is negative 1, and b is 3. So when I do negative 3, this is when I do negative 1 plus 3, I get 2. X is negative 2, and b is 3. Negative 2 plus 3 is 1. Okay, so remember, this is just inside the calculator. This is the process that happens. This is my input. This is my output. So let's just go ahead and do it straight on. So we're going to go where x is 2. X is 2 right here. Y is 5 right here. So that's the point where they meet. X is 1 right here. Y is 4 right here. So that's the place where that point lives. That's the point 1, 4. 0, 3, negative 1, 2, and negative 2, 1. Okay, so you can see this is very similar to what we did. So also, let's just see, let's extend the points. We can continue our points by looking at what our slope is. Well, our slope, if I don't see a number in front of that x, our slope has to be 1. So that's up 1, right 1. So I go up 1, right 1, there's another point. Up 1, right 1, there's another point. Up 1, right 1. And I just continue that pattern, and I can do it the other way. I can do down, left, down 1, left 1, down 1, left 1, and continue that pattern to get a nice set of points so that my line is pretty accurate. So now I'm just going to take my straight edge and I'm going to draw my line through. Okay, so now we have to talk about what kind of transformation or what kind of shift. And we're going to compare it to the parent, okay? So what we're going to look at is we're going to look at our y-intercepts. And I colored those in pink. Right here is my y-intercept for this one, that's the parent. And here is my y-intercept for this new one. So what happened between the parent and the new one? Well, the parent started at 0, 0. So the parent started here, but the new one went up. So it went up that distance. So I highlight it in yellow. It's hard to see, so I'm just going to do a pen with an arrow. So it went up compared to the parent by 1, 2, 3. And as you can see here, the number 3 is telling us how many it went up. So this went up 3. So now let's go to this side. And so what happened with the vertical shift? We went up because our B was positive. Okay, so notice that there's no sign in here. It's just positive. So I highlighted that in pink, and notice that it's positive. If your y-intercept is positive, the whole function shifts up. So now what I want you to do is I want you to try to do this one on your own and see what you come up with. So this is what I have. I highlighted my slope and my y-intercept, then I substituted in the values, and then I have simplified x times 1 is x, and then a plus minus is just a minus. So this is telling me it went down. By the way, A and M, you may want to change that to say M. And then I just substituted things in. So x is 2 and my B is negative 3. This is the same as 2 minus 3, which is minus 1. 1 minus 3, which is negative 2, 0 minus 3, which is negative 3, and so on. I graphed these points, I plotted them on the line, and then I drew that line. And I can see, remember, your parent function, the vertex or center, was at 0, 0, and now my y-intercept has gone down 3. So I know it went down 3. So the vertical shift on here, you want to write down. And it's down because notice that B is negative.